things, some aspects you need to follow to get the Purna Yoga Siddhi. But he is not saying, so this is mandatory to start the Yoga Sadhana. So if you follow these things, you will get the Yoga Siddhi quickly. So if you are not doing, your progress may be slow. Last class we discussed about that. Ahimsa, Satyam, and Asteyam, Brahmacharyam, Shamai, Kriti, Dayai, Arjapam. So finally, it is talking about the Mita Ahara. So Aharam also Mita Ahara and Sausam, the cleanness of the body and the mind is all our Yamas. Now we are moving to the Niyamam. First is Tapas, then the Santosham, and Astikeyam, and Danam, Ishvara Pujanam, and Siddhanta Siravanam, and Lajjai, and Mati, Japa, Vrata. So the first one, Tapas. So Tapas means putting our mind and the body into the particular objective and channeling our energy toward the objective. So in this aspect, we are putting our body and prana to achieve the samadhi in the context of yoga. So wherever you are channeling your mind and the prana and the body energies, right, toward the objective, it called tapas. In the yogic context, we are trying to achieve the samadhi. So here the meaning is, all our efforts, the sadhanas. Every day we are following the schedule and doing asanas and the japa and the dhyana, and all our practices are called as tapas. And also the following the particular order. For example, so we are deciding every day 108 Gayatri japa at a particular time, and we are following it consistently for a long period. Okay, it also tapas. So that's the idea. You have to fix your objective and do a commitment, and with the faith you are doing consistently without any break. Okay, so whatever you are doing in this way become a tapas. Only the objective may change, maybe a yogic objective or it may be a physical objective, but whatever you are putting the effort like this, all as a tapas. And the sandosham means, generally it can be translated as a happiness, but actually what it means here, santosham means you must be happy mindset, without any agitation inside. Stopping your wavering attitude inside in the chitta. Whatever you are having, right, you are starting your practice and focusing the practice, not to blame or not to have a conflict inside. Okay, so that's called as a santosham. And the next is astikeyam. So it's the belief. Okay, believe. It's not actually believing blindly. So authentic, authorized, discriminative knowledge. So you are believing with the authentic and authorized knowledge which came from the authorized text or the Guru Parampara. So the believing or trusting the words of the text and the Guru is very important in the Yoga Sadhana. Otherwise, you don't go in the correct path because it's like we are dealing with the subjective world. So there is no clear demarcations inside the mind. Okay, so we are going to work with the prana and the mind which are not clear to our senses. So it's always we have to believe the text. For example, if you are practicing the Hatha Yoga, then so you have to take the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and understand each and every sloka, what he says. So then believe and the practice. Okay, so that is very important in the Siddhi of the Hatha Yoga or any yoga practices. So the next is Dhanam. Dhanam means a giving attitude. Whatever you are having, share with others. Okay, share with others within your capacity. So that's called Dhan. So the attitude you always must have to give whatever you are having. So giving to others. Dhan. So the next is Ishvara Puja. Then you must have the belief in the God and worshipping every day. Then Siddhanta Siravanam, learning the scriptures which is related to your sadhana every day. Okay, so you must learn the scriptures every day. The Lajjai, it can be translated into shyness. Sadhaka must have this shyness to do the unwanted thing which is not related to the dharma. He is practicing, so he should avoid or he should be shy on some aspects, not to do. 8th was Mati. Okay, Mati in the sense intellect. The sadhaka must have Shraddha and the intelligence to do, what is correct and what is wrong. And the 9th is Japam. Okay, it's very clear. So in our context, it's a Guru Mantra and the Gayatri. So sadhaka need to do the Japam every day. So the 10th one is the Vratam. Vratam in the sense, fasting as per the culture, like, Ekadasi or Saturthi, Purnima, just to clean our body. We need to do the fasting, Vratam. So with these details, okay, Yama and Niyama, sadhaka now entering into the asana practice. So now the real Hatha Yoga practice is starting. First, why we need the asanas, the objective of the asana. So the 3 objectives for the asana practice. One is Stiram, Arogyam and Angalavaham. Stiram in the sense getting the steadiness in the body to ready to practice the pranayama, breathing, steadiness in the body and the breathing, and finally, so we will get the steadiness in the mind also. So getting the steadiness in the mind is a benefit of the practice. We are trying to work with the body and we are getting the steadiness in the body, then steadiness in the breathing, then it will lead to the steadiness in the mind. The second is Arogyam. Arogyam, we know health. Health in the sense we are getting the Tridosha Samanila in our body. Okay, so Vata, Pitta, Kapha will be balanced during the asana practice. Through that, we are getting the Arogyam. So Angalavagam in the sense lightness. Okay, so our body become lightness because of the removal of the malas, 3 malas, mala and the urine and the sweat. So that will give the Angalavagam, the lightness in the body. So this is a very essential condition for the Hatha Siddhi. Okay, Hatha Siddhi in the sense merging the Idakale and Pingale. So right and the left or the Surya or Chandra energies in the body into the Sulamana. Okay, so when we do this, the body need to be Sthira, Arogya and the Angalavaka. Okay, so need to be steady and healthy and the light. Okay, if we don't have this type of a body, then we will get the problem. So what he says in the earlier sloka, people start to practice the Raja Yoga. Okay, Raja Yoga in the sense straightly trying to control the mind. So if you don't have the steadiness in the body and your nadis are not clean, you will get the problem. Okay, so it will create a health problems in you. So generally, when we start the practice, our body will be in tamas or rajas. Okay, so in the sense, it's less active. We are unable to move, or we are unable to sit, or otherwise we are overdoing. Okay, so overdoing our bodily activities. So tamas or rajas. So the objective of asana, we are trying to synchronize and align and to create the sattva guna in the body. So the sthira will be achieved when we overcome our rajo and tamo guna. Okay, so if you can sit in the padmasana without any wavering, being steady, so then the sattva guna is developing in your body. Okay, but if unable to sit for a minute or time, so it's obviously your body is governed by the rajo or tamas. So the first part is dealing with the gunas. Okay, sthira means you are moving from the tamas and the rajas to sattva. You are pushing your body to become a sattva body. Then the second part, the arogya, that deal with the doshas, Tridosha. The asana practice will balance the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So generally, we know the locations of the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Lower part is governed by the Vata, and the stomach is governed by the Pitta, and the upper part is the Kapha. Balancing the doshas will bring the arogya. So the third one is Angalavagam, is related to the Tirimala, the fecal and the urine and the sweating. Okay, so these need to be removed from the body to get the lightness in our body. So these 3 things are the key for evaluating the asana practice. Okay, so if you have the sattva body, you can hold the asana for the long hours. Okay, for example, if you sit in the Padmasana, you can sit for hours. Okay, because your mind and the body is not wavering, no rajo or tamas. That is number one. So even though you train your mind and the body alignment to become a sattva, if you don't have the balance of the dosha, then tadus will not supporting. Then you don't get the sthira. Finally, if you have the mala inside also, you can't achieve the asanas. So whenever you are doing the asana, this is the key. So you need to evaluate whether you achieve the steady position, that is the development of the sattva through the asana practice. Second, when you are sitting the half an hour, whether you are comfortable, right? You are not getting any heat in the body. So then pitta or dosha is getting, aggravating or getting confused. Okay, so you're getting vayu in the stomach. So these are the imbalance of the doshas. So why it is happening? So you have not cleaned your malas, fecal and the urine and the sweat. So this is the way you have to understand how the asana practice is cleaning the body and making progression toward the yoga sadhana. So that schedule we will discuss as a sequence. So next sloka is a very interesting. He says, I'm going to explain the asanas. Okay, I'm going to explain the asanas. Out of 84, I'm selecting some of the best for the practice. Okay, he's not going to explain all 84s. I'm going to select some of the asanas which are practiced by the Vasishtha and the Machendranatha. So he take two rishis. One is the Vasishtha and the Machendranatha. So that has some meaning because the Vasishtha belong to the school of mind, like a Patanjali, Yoga Vasishtha. So we know he gave a very big work regarding the mind and all the things. So he's a school like a Patanjali, he deal with the mind. But still, they also had a asana for their yoga practices. Machendranatha is Natha Sampradaya Yogi. They purely practice the Hatha Yoga Vidya. So they started with the body and the prana aspect. But the Vasishtha is the mind and the prana aspect. So what is the idea? So the yoga means it's a triangle, the mind, body and the prana merging into the center called soul or the Atma or consciousness. So always you need to work with the two things minimum. Okay. So you can start with body and the prana and go inside, or otherwise mind and the prana inside. Okay. The Vasishtha and Patanjali are talking more about the mind and the prana aspect. But the Machendranatha, Gorakshanatha and the Natha Sampradaya Yogis are dealing with the body and the prana. Okay, so don't touch the mind in the first point. So that's the idea of the Hatha Yoga, because the touching the mind is a difficult part. Sometimes we can have a problem. So with that, now we are starting the Swastik Asana. He is telling altogether 15 asanas. So it is out of 84 and he assures that this will give the three benefits: Sthira, Arogya and Angalavagam for the practice of Hatha Yoga. Okay. So the next class we will start the sequence of the asana. The idea is not to discuss each and every asana how to do, but understanding the sequence, why it is important, okay, why he is starting with the Swastikasana and going, and after that ending with the Bhadrasana and Padmasana and Siddhasana. Okay, so why he is mentioning the particular sequence. So that have a very important message, which is very essential for your practice. Okay, so otherwise it won't connect your practice with the prana and all these things, according to our objective. So next class we will discuss about all the asanas and their sequence and why it is important, and then some of the meanings like esoteric meanings and how it is related to the nadis and the prana and the tiridosha. So you can connect those with your practice.